You spent just 2 hours with them. You didn't argue. Nothing bad happened. The conversation was fine. But the moment you get home, you're exhausted. Not tired like you need sleep. Exhausted in a different way. Like something was quietly taken from you. And the strange part? You can't explain it. They didn't do anything wrong. You can't point to a single moment and say, "That's what drained me." But you felt it. You always feel it around this person. And you've started dreading seeing them, even though you don't fully understand why. Today we're going to talk about what's actually happening. Because there's a reason. And once you understand it, you'll never have to feel confused about it again. First, let's be clear about something. What you're feeling is real. It is not weakness. It is not you being antisocial. It is not ingratitude. It is your nervous system sending you a signal. And your nervous system, the part of you that processes safety and threat, is one of the most honest systems you have. It doesn't lie. It doesn't exaggerate. It simply responds to what it detects. So when you feel drained after being around a specific person, your body is not being dramatic. It is telling you something precise. The question is, what? Psychologists have studied this for decades. Your body has a system called the autonomic nervous system. It operates constantly without you thinking about it. It controls your heart rate, your breathing, your digestion. And it also controls something called your threat response. This system was designed to protect you. It is constantly scanning your environment and asking one question. Am I safe here? Now here's what most people don't realize. This system doesn't just respond to physical threats. It responds to social ones too. When you're around someone who is unpredictable, someone whose mood can change without warning, your nervous system stays on high alert the entire time. When you're around someone who subtly criticizes, who makes small comments that sting but are hard to call out, your body tenses. When you're around someone who requires you to constantly monitor their emotional state, to manage how they feel, your system works overtime. And all of that costs energy. Real, measurable energy. Not because you are weak, but because your body is doing exactly what it was designed to do. It is protecting you. The exhaustion you feel after is not a problem. It is evidence that your nervous system was working hard the entire time you were with that person. Now, let's get specific. Because not all draining people drain you in the same way. There are patterns. And once you recognize the pattern, the exhaustion starts to make complete sense. The first type, the unpredictable one. This is someone whose emotional state you can never quite read. One day they're warm and open. The next they're cold and distant, and you don't know why. When you're around this person, part of your mind is constantly scanning, reading their tone, watching their body language, trying to figure out what version of them you're dealing with today. That scanning is exhausting, and it runs in the background the entire time, even when the conversation seems normal. The second type, the subtle critic. This person doesn't insult you openly. They're too careful for that. Instead, they make small comments. A slight raise of the eyebrow. A question that sounds innocent but carries an edge. But you're still doing that. That's interesting. I wouldn't have thought of it that way. These comments are hard to call out because individually they seem harmless. But over time, they add up, and your body keeps score even when your mind tries to dismiss them. The third type, the emotional outsourcer. This is someone who consistently brings their problems, but never has space for yours. You leave every conversation having carried their emotional weight, having offered advice, comfort, and energy. But when you try to share something difficult, the conversation somehow comes back to them. This is not always intentional, but it is consistently draining. The fourth type, the performing relationship. This is perhaps the most exhausting of all. This is a relationship where you cannot be yourself, where you have to perform a version of yourself, carefully managed, filtered, adjusted to keep the peace or meet their expectations. When you have to perform, you cannot rest. And a person who cannot rest in a relationship will always leave it tired. Here is why this exhaustion is so confusing. Most of what drains you happens below the level of conscious awareness. Your nervous system is processing thousands of microsignals in every interaction. Tone of voice, facial expressions, subtle shifts in body language, and responding to all of them. But your conscious mind only catches a fraction of this. So you experience the result, the exhaustion, without being able to trace the cause. This is why you find yourself saying, "They didn't do anything wrong. I can't explain it. Maybe it's just me." It is not just you. Your body processed something that your mind didn't have words for yet. And the fact that you can't explain it doesn't make it less real. It makes it more important to pay attention to. So what do you do with this? First, understand what the exhaustion is actually communicating. It is not telling you that this person is evil. It is not telling you to cut everyone off. It is telling you one of three things. 1. This relationship requires more energy than it returns. Every relationship has a give and take. Some relationships energize you. You leave them feeling lighter, more alive, more yourself. Others consistently cost more than they give. Your exhaustion is the body's way of showing you the balance sheet. 2. You are suppressing something in this relationship. When we suppress our real reactions, when we bite our tongue, manage our expressions, hide our feelings, it takes physical energy. The exhaustion after being with someone may be the cost of everything you held back. 3. There is an unresolved dynamic that needs attention. Sometimes the drain is not about the present interaction at all. It is about a pattern, something that has been building for a long time, that your body is now refusing to ignore. 3 things, practical and real. First, name the pattern, not the person. Instead of saying, "This person drains me," try to identify which of the 4 patterns is at play. Are they unpredictable, subtly critical, an emotional outsourcer? Do you perform around them? Naming the pattern gives you clarity, and clarity gives you choice. Second, give yourself recovery time without guilt. After interactions that cost you energy, you need time to return to yourself. This is not antisocial behavior. This is maintenance. A car that uses more fuel needs more refueling. There's no shame in that. Build in quiet time after draining interactions. Protect it. Use it. Third, adjust the level of access, not necessarily the relationship. You don't always have to end a relationship to protect your energy. Sometimes, reducing the frequency, shortening the duration, or changing the format of interactions is enough. You are allowed to love someone and still limit your exposure to them. You are allowed to care about someone and still protect your nervous system. These 2 things are not in conflict. The exhaustion you feel around certain people is not a mystery. It is your body being honest with you. It is your nervous system doing its job, quietly, constantly, faithfully, even when your mind tries to rationalize or dismiss what it's detecting. Not every relationship deserves unlimited access to your energy. And recognizing that, without guilt, without shame, is not selfishness. It is wisdom. Take care of yourself. See you in the next one.